Wow. Okay, cool. Well, I want to get into now the summer movies that are coming out, and I'm gonna mention a few, but I I can't believe a lot of the ones that we're gonna be mentioning are remakes. They're ones that have been around. We've seen them before and they're around again. But I wanted to make sure that I brought out the one that I'm looking forward to the most is kind of something that's been around since 1996.
Okay.
The movie has been around, or the franchise has been around since 1996. And so we're going to go ahead and roll into that. Let me see if I have it. I sure do.
Let it roll. Let it roll.
It's a trailer for Mission Impossible. Let me go ahead and do this.
This can't all be true.
Every word.
CIA Black Vault break-in.
Am I reading this correctly? The Kremlin bombing?
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
He gassed a security briefing.
That was just 2 months ago.
This explains the handcuffs. It's still not clear why he's here.
If we want to bring the world back from the brink, we have to deal with him.
Should he choose to accept?
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
What exactly is your plan?
Your team has been betrayed, Ethan. All your secrets compromised. Everything you are, everything you've done has come to this.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This is your calling, your destiny. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Okay, so I'm in.
Hey,
I don't know about nobody else.
I love it. That's like Star Wars to me. Love it.
Oh my goodness.
Cruise is okay,
1996.
but is he the question for you? Is he the best James Bond ever?
He's not James Bond. That's the wrong. You got the wrong person with that. Now that's the wrong situation.
No. I know James Bond 007. Try, I ain't got it wrong. I'm just asking you. Mission Impossible and 007, damn, they're the same folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
One is British. Now, you know, people that are into films, they'd be insulted that you'd say that James Bond, who is British, and then we have this American over here being Ethan Hawke. No, you can't. It's British American.
Well, y'all can be mad as hell. All I'm trying to tell you is, if you got 007 in the left hand and Mission Impossible in the right hand, they similar things they do. I'm asking you, who do you like that had the best quote unquote missions or the movies? Because we know, I don't care what you say, Val, you know, Mission Impossible is born out of 007, period. We know that.
I would disagree.
Okay.
And Mission Impossible was, let me finish. Mission Impossible was a 1960s sitcom or drama that was popularized, and then who is this? Tom Cruise got the rights with Paramount and started making Mission Impossible movies since 1996. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know.
Go back to 007. And I think it's Sean Connery is around the same time, if not right before.
No. The James Bond franchise is older than Mission Impossible, and James Bond was being released in theaters. This was before me and you showed up. This was in the 60s. Yeah. This is not us. 1960s. So Mission Impossible was a television show. The Bond was James Bond that was in the theaters. And
correct.
And here's the thing is James Bond was always produced, not necessarily here in America, but it was all overseas, and he was English. And so correct. Here's the thing, because I appreciate how much work Tom Cruise puts into all of these, and this is the franchise. These are all the films that he's done over the last 20. Oh, good gracious. We might as well say 30 years. 1996. Next year is 2026. Over the last 30 years, a vast majority. He's still doing the vast majority of his own stunts, Coach. And so I get into it because it's sometimes it's somewhat attached to a girl. It's always about I was in love with somebody, or I was trying to be in love with somebody, or I had to protect this person. And then there's always a bad sister or a girl or woman that knows how to fight and knows how to help defend him or defend alongside of him. I've always loved that. Didn't necessarily see that with James. He was always just getting busy and leaving them. I think the later James Bond films started to have more of a let me help you and be bad alongside of you and beat people up, versus just being the concubine or the person you sleep with during this film, and then you keep it moving, which is anyway, I can go on and on about that.
I think though, just me to go back to what you just said. I still think that Mission Impossible is a simple derivative of the 007 franchise. I think that the 007 franchise, Sean Connery, the original, came and did what he had to do and so forth and so on. And then we changed a couple characters throughout. I think that the Mission Impossible was set out in the late 60s, early 70s to combat that show, to give a similar look in a different manner. And then Tom Cruise tried to take it on to another thing. And then we still had some more 007 movies. I just simply think those two movies in that franchise series are tremendous in terms of competition amongst each other. But I still think that the Mission Impossible bit off of 007 to give you that adventurous look into espionage, so to speak.
Okay. And I'm now looking it up. Mission Impossible, the series, was in 1966, and it went 7 seasons. 7 seasons, and kind of true to the Peter Graves was kind of the lead situation with them. Greg Morris was a part of the original series. It went from 1966 to 1973.
And like Waldo said, Van Rings.
Yeah, Ving Rames. I'm saying his name wrong. So that was in the series, in the movies with Tom Cruise. And but like I said, he's changed a little bit of the players. I think if you see in this particular shot, you see Ving in this shot here. But and then here's Mark. I like what Mark says. He says James Bond was almost started as a Cold War movie that was anti-Russia, if I understand the history correctly. Well, let's check that out about James Bond. I never really investigated.
And Mark, that may make good sense. And that may make good sense. But at the same time, again, it gave the American people in the 60s, with everything going on, right, Val? We know 63 Democratic Convention was going on in Chicago, massacre, Chicago burnt, everything was having, Martin Luther King's going to be assassinated, Kennedy's going to be assassinated. And I think the movies kind of gave people a sense of let's get away from the madness and let's get away from the craziness. And that, that 007 was it. I remember as a kid, I didn't hear a damn thing about Mission Impossible, but I did hear about 007. Old man had me watching 007 as a kid in Chicago all the time.
Well, let's think about this. 007 films were made, and they started making 007 films as early as 1962 with the release of Dr. No. And that one starred, I believe, Sean Connery.
Yeah, I said Sean Connery. That's what I said.
Right, Sean Connery. So I think it was, and they would come up with a film like every couple of years. Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, the year I showed up. Live and Let Die. I remember that soundtrack. One of the songs from, I believe, Paul McCartney that stood out to me.
007 was so cold that your two major rappers took the soundtrack to their major album. Because that's what Jay-Z's album blew up, became his with, he did the Diamonds Are Forever. And he went back to Central Page to do that. I'm just saying.
Right, exactly.
I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying, I think ultimately, and that Mark remembered, Greg Morris is a brother. Yeah, he was a gentleman that was a part of the original Mission Impossible series that was from 1966 to 1973. But yeah, so James Bond, I mean, that's an interesting comparison, but one was strictly in films and one was strictly television. And that was back in the, in 1966, it was three networks.
Yeah.
It was three networks. It was only three networks at the time. So, and you didn't have cable. So it was either you watched it or you didn't.
You had the big satellite dishes out in the backyard, man. About this big. You better hope it's lighting on it. I got a trick question for you, Val.
Okay. I don't know if I'm ready for the trick question. Okay. And the last, really quickly, the last James Bond film was No Time to Die. That was 2021.
Right, No Time to Die. And Mark, I'm glad you listened because I want to know too. Why is it that everybody came on Gilligan's Island and hung out with them and got off the island, but the original crew never did?
More fun to keep the original folks there. I don't know.
As you answered that, I got an opportunity a few years ago doing the basketball event. I was down in the Atlantis, and we're out of the boat thing coming in, and they talked about, you see that over there? I'm like, what's that? They said, that's where Gilligan Island was shot. Val, I'm telling you, it was maybe a half a mile swim to the shore. So they could have swam, a couple of sharks, but ain't nobody worried about no sharks, right? But, but my whole thing was, how did everybody come on the island and got off except, and then the other thing is, why was Ginger and the professor and his wife were the only ones on the whole island always had nice clothes? Where were they going? They like they were going nowhere.
Well, maybe that was in their luggage and they didn't know how to pack. That's probably what happened with that. I don't know. That's what they had in their luggage. That's all I got.
I just wanted to know that. I've been meaning to ask you that for a while.
Oh my goodness. What are some of the films that are coming out over the summer? The one that I'm looking forward to is what we just saw, which is Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. And then this is kind of the direct sequel to what was released in 2023. And
right, no play, that's going to be dope. I think it's going to be good. I mean, again, you mentioned earlier, Cruise is one of the very few actors that's still doing his own stunts, Val. I mean, how many people, over 50 years old still jumping and rolling around?
And he is what is he knocking on? I think he's 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's over 60. So yeah, Ethan Hunt comes back One Last Mission. So that gets released on Memorial Day weekend. So that's May 23rd for that. Also for the kiddies, they're doing Disney is doing a live action Lilo and Stitch film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which I'm not. There were some weird things that were being shown with, I want to say, the original Lilo and Stitch. It was pointed out to me that there was some weird things, weird images in some of the digital stills of the film. And I was like, well, this is a live action one, but I wasn't a fan of the original. I'm not the audience, so I can't, there's no big deal, but that's one of the ones that's getting released. And then, of course, there was the film over the weekend that got released, Thunderbolts. We talked about Captain America, and that Thunderbolts was kind of previewed in Captain America that came out in February. And so I think the film did number one, did 77 million over the weekend. But guess what was right on its trail, right behind it? Third week around, Sinners.
Oh man, my daughter just asked me about that tonight. I said, I need to ask Val about it and get back to it. But real quick before we move off this point, Mark, that was a funny response, and you're right. Mark said, for the same reason that they was on Laws and didn't get off to the end of the show. Mark, that's why it was called Laws. That's no different than Val. Remember the show Bubble? They were in the bubble.
I think so. So. I'm
God.
not.
Remember they came out of space and this big old bubble was around America, and you could run so far around, but you couldn't get out the bubble, and there was a secret passageway through the underworld. Oh my God, I love that show, and then they just killed it.
Yeah, and then Mark's like, it never made sense. Even aliens visited and they never got off. It whatever keeps the drama there, that's kind of the fun thing. Let me get back to some of the movies that are coming out. Superman is due to come out in July. I believe that's the film that's coming out. They've remade it. It's been remade so much into TV shows, and I don't know. I think who's
playing the main role though?
The main role is being played by, and I'll be able to tell you that in 39 seconds as I bring it up. It's going to be David Cornsweet. So he's playing Clark Kent, aka he's playing Superman. And so they have.
Wasn't this the one that Idris Elba was up for, and they decided to go around him? Ain't that the one?
No, this is not the one. And this one, Superman is due to come out July 11th, which is just after July 4th, that major weekend.
Just after my son's birthday.
So it's coming out in July. So, and then the other film that they're remaking, and it's coming out, and I'm like, okay, they have Karate Kid Legends.
Oh, I saw that.
Supposed to be hitting at the end of the month. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio unite for the newest Karate Kid film, set 3 years later after Cobra Kai, and focusing on a new kid, Lee, being played by Ben Wang. And so,
which is going to be basically Bruce Lee's son growing up.
Pretty much. So that might be something I'm interested in. And like I said, Karate Kid, these are films that we remember from back when we were younger. And like I said, I can just be a fan, but I'm telling you, it is, oh my goodness. And one last film that I want to mention that's coming out, and we'll revisit this because there are a slew of films that are coming out for the summertime too. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I mentioned, I'm trying to figure out why they decided they're going to this was it. No, not that one. That was from a young, I'm looking at, I see something that says How to Train Your Dragon. Here's a film that's coming out called F1. This is Brad Pitt and Damon Idris.
You talking about the F1 motor car series?
What was that?
You talking about F1 like as in the race car series?
No, not F1 like the race car series. This is, if I'm looking at this correctly, this is, oh boy, this is AP. They want us to donate. Let me go ahead and share this. No, this is Brad Pitt's film. And it's coming out, Warner Brothers. They said that, F1 driver Sonny Hayes, who was recruited to mentor a young and up and coming Damon Idris in this high octane film from Top Gun Maverick filmmaker Joseph Kanowski. And so this is the film that's coming out at the end of it's coming out June 27th. So it's
gonna be like a Top Gun, Air Force type movie.
But they'll be driving. F1,
that's what I just said. That's what I just said.
Did say that. Oh,
I just said that because I know F1 series, and the comment I was gonna say, if you're not up on the F1 series, F1 is hot, Val. If you're not following race car driving F1, two young kids just one Saturday, Sunday, I watched them. That's why when you said F1, I knew F1 that's the race car series. And it's hot. It's sitting there watching that, but they get up to speeds like 200 miles an hour.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
I'm talking about 200 miles an hour, like from Water Tower down to like Grant Park.
And we did have NASCAR kind of hanging out here, but so like I said, I'm looking forward to the new Mission Impossible. This is supposed to be the final one now. I don't know if it's final, but they're saying it's going to be the final one. I'm interested in seeing F1, the one with Brad Pitt and Damon Idris. This would be fun to see this. And then also Superman is out there. I need to see some more previews. I don't really know the actors that's in it, but here's the thing, Tony, a lot of the remakes that are happening, are we the audience, or is it our children or children's children? So we may not be the audience.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the movies Val said, one, the top two within Mission Impossible and whatnot,
mm-hmm.
You got to go to the hood theater to see those. So that it is
I'm not going to the hood.
phenomenal.
I'm not going to the hood.
You got to make you some chicken wings or some chicken strips, carry a little tequila, some bourbon in, or some vodka, whatever, and watch the movie in 3D and be full and have a good time. Make sure that you sit in the hood section because they're going to tell you all the movie parts before they occur. If you don't
want that.
And I want somebody who in June, July to do that. And I want you to come back on our show and report to me and tell me, Coach Tony, I did what you said. And man, here's what my experience was. Because I want to hear the experience because I really want to know. We're gonna carry this more often. We want the hood. I want to know that.
And Mark wanted to know when your son's birthday is.
July 9th, Mark.
Okay.
My son's birthday, July 9th. My daughter, July 16th. I'm at the end of the month, July 30th. So July is rocking and rolling for the fam.
There you go. Oh my gosh. We're wrapping up.
DJ saved your life.
And the fun thing is that the actual physical book is coming. I am so excited. Wait, I got to do this real quick.
Drum roll.
I got merch, man.
Hey, hold on. Bag up. Hey, and where's and stop the presses. Hey, is that like a one of those like satchels that you can put some books in or carry to the beach and do some things like that?
Yes.
I like that.
If you see the actual printed version of a DJ Save My Life is coming.
Okay.
And this is like a notebook version of it, but I am excited. And so I'm telling people, hey, we have merch. So this is our the DJ Save My Life tote bag. And of course, you can get your book and you can put it inside and be like, yeah, there you go.
What? Hey, I like Lil Jon said, okay. Hey, I like that. Again, those that are looking, you
Mhm.
get your DJ Save My Life bag, you get your book, you get your little condiments and your little drink. You head down to the beach and you take the bag with you, get your umbrella, kick it out, get your little table in between, because you out there in the daylight, you put your bag down like Val just did, you take your book out and read how a DJ saved a life. That's what's up.
Exactly. So I'm getting the books printed out, and it going on, I want to call it a book tour, is something I'm looking forward to actually sign the book in person and greet you guys for number one,
There you go.
supporting the podcast as well as the book. So
I
scan the
gotta be on that side. I gotta be there with you. So they be like, they go Coach Val, they go Coach Tony Val, pull up in the book. Let's get it.
You go to purelighthouse.media.com /shop. That is our merch, where you can get the bag, the coffee mug, all of those things for DJ Save My Life. But the ebook is available, but now we're ready to roll out the printed version of it. And of course, let me make sure I go back to this. This is patreon.com /interludes. It's our back, I like to call it, things that happen behind the scenes. And of course, I'm going to probably do a behind the scenes of this show as well. But you go to patreon.com /interludes. And of course, I'm gathering information from Coach, writing articles. And also I have the purple robe the Purple Robe Diaries. I started doing that, and that's me filming myself in my purple robe when I talk. Now it's getting warmer, so I'm going to give me a lighter purple robe.
Val just gave me. We got to come to red robe. We got to come to red diaries. I keep it red. I don't like that purple. I love that. I got personals. We gonna get the red diaries is coming soon to the pull up. Hey, that's wonderful, Val. I like that.
I know you can join patreon.com /interludes for free. But if you decide, hey, I want to get paid content, then you'll be able to see content of me doing comedy, and then also giving you tips on how to do things with and starting your own podcast. So that's at patreon.com /interludes. And I wanted to just kind of highlight some of the things that I have over there for all members, which is really, really cool. Oh my goodness. And then next week is the Pull Up Podcast Show. We always have great guests that come on with Coach Tony. We had a wonderful guest on yesterday, Alexis Griggs. Good to chat with her. Coach, wasn't that a great guest to have yesterday?
Man, let me tell you something. I talked to her today, and she's still just elated over the show. And it's just awesome. I mean, to have a young lady like that, when I originally asked her to come on the show, Val, we were just trying to figure out topics of conversation. And I said, let's just keep it real. And to get her on and by the way, the people that watched the show last night, she was in her real element. I mean, to give the knowledge, talk to the kids straight up about, hey, here's where I've been. I've been in those shoes. I ran that sideline. I ran those drills. I got talked to. I got this. I got that. And now look at me. And she's still in the game, Val, giving back, teaching and coaching. That's what it's all about. I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and it was a really good show on yesterday. And if you guys are looking for that particular show, that's on our YouTube channel. That's the reason why we're always asking you guys, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, with this particular video, hit the like button and make sure that you share the love. And so you get a chance to see that wonderful, wonderful interview with our girl, Alexis Griggs. And of course,
next week is hot.
Definitely next week is hot. And of course, we want to encourage you guys, make sure that you support Coach Tony on his brand new IG page. It is it's called the Pull Up Podcast Show, and it is Coach Tony. And you guys go ahead and scan the QR code so that you can go ahead and follow him and his activity on the Instagram, on the gram. That's what the kids call it.
On the gram. Put it on the gram. Like Vegas said, we're going to get on the gram. And not the tram, but the gram. And also you guys are looking. Mark, make sure you stay close to. I already talked to a couple of homeboys, Val and myself. We're going to work on our first annual golf outing with a mixture of interlude folks and the pull-up folks. We're going to bring both shows together to have a wonderful weekend, whether we do a weekend outing or weekend outing or 1 day outing. We'll let you know, but stay tuned because that's coming soon.
All right. Well, we'll be back on next week. The Pull Up Podcast Show comes back on next week. And then, of course, I'm working on getting some more guests, some more filmmakers here with Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. But we are getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, man,
so excited.
We about to act like a pregnant woman at the hospital delivering a baby. And we're going to head up out of here.
Don't know if I want the visual of a pregnant lady. We're going to just say peace.
Peace.